morning, friends. Greetings and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures if you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin. You have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 31 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure, because the human biological system is a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that healing, renewing, regenerating system a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, we are here for you. We welcome your phone calls at 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity products, the longevity business, something you may have heard about, read about. If you have questions about anything we're talking about on this program, we've been talking lately about cytotoxins and N-acetylcysteine and glutathione. If you have any questions about anything we've spoken about here today, or if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we are here for you at 844-236-6010, and we'll get to your calls here in our second segment. We got a guest coming up at the bottom of the hour. Reverend Tabiti is going to talk about fasting. He's a fasting expert. He's been fasting, I don't know, he fasts probably 200 days a year, and he's got a lot to say about what I consider to be one of the most important, if not the most important of all anti-aging and health-inducing strategies, fasting, as well as caloric restriction. We'll be talking to Reverend Tabiti at the bottom of the hour, so we'll take your phone calls in our next segment at 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase any of our longevity products, please go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And if you want to sign up to join the Brightside Ben team, love to have you on my team. I can help you build your business through three-way phone calls or coming out and doing presentations for you. If you're an entrepreneur, this is definitely something you want to think about. If you're an entrepreneur and you like the world of health, you like the world of nutrition, or if you just like the world of health and like the world of nutrition and you've never been an entrepreneur, you might want to think about it. It's a wonderful lifestyle. I've been an entrepreneur now for 31 years. I haven't had a regular paycheck since I was 30 years old. Since I was 31 years old, I got my last paycheck from Albertsons Pharmacy, and I was very glad to get my last paycheck from Albertsons Pharmacy. There's nothing as degrading, one of the most degrading things you can do in life is have to take orders from your boss and punch a clock and get yelled at and kiss butt. And being an entrepreneur allows you to bypass all that. Of course, it is just for unique people. It's not for everybody, the entrepreneur lifestyle. But if it's for you, you want to check out the longevity products, head to Brightside Ben, or the longevity business opportunity, as well as the products. Head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can also call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470. Okay, so I want to continue talking a little bit more about my favorite non-essential nutrient. By non-essential, it's not one of the mighty 90 essential nutrients. You don't need to take the supplement, NAC, N-acetylcysteine, but man, is it helpful. I would call it pseudo-essential. It's not essential in the sense that there's a deficiency disease associated with NAC deficiency, but because it's such an important detox supplement and because our environment is so darn toxic, I will say, I'll go out on a limb and call it pseudo-essential. Last program we talked about NAC and its very prominent, notable chelating properties, which can be helpful for anyone worried about heavy metal toxicity, especially mercury poisoning from your dental fillings or amalgams. If you're having your amalgams removed, NAC is almost like a must-have. It'll chelate that mercury that can float around in your blood when they take the fillings out. Sometimes they take the fillings out and some of the mercury stays in your system. NAC can be very helpful. If you're worried about mercury from seafood poisoning or seafood consumption, if you're eating a lot of canned tuna or a lot of sushi, I eat a lot of sushi, which I love, by the way. Aside from the fact that it's potentially toxic, it is kind of a perfect food. NAC can help protect you against mercury poisoning from seafood. It also chelates lead. Now, we don't really think about lead poisoning too much, not these days anyway, but you know what? It is a problem. Just a couple of days ago, I read an article here. Lead detected in 20% of baby food samples, surprising even researchers. This is from some newspaper here. EPA study on randomly pulled baby food samples, and this was released actually last week. They found that baby food versions of apple juice, grape juice, and carrots had detectable lead more often than regular versions, meaning that there's lead in the baby food, at least potentially lead in your baby food, and babies are especially susceptible to lead poisoning because lead really affects the brain, and babies' brains are developing. So don't underestimate the importance of lead poisoning. Of course, not just babies are going to be affected by lead. Everybody's affected by lead. Just another reason to take your NAC, your N-acetylcysteine. By the way, zinc also can be protective against lead poisoning. Again, showing you how powerful zinc is as a supplement and how multifunctional zinc is. And zinc deficiency is very common. So between NAC and zinc, you got a couple wonderful supplements that you can use to protect yourself from lead poisoning, from mercury poisoning, from heavy metal toxicity in general. According to Life Extension, NAC also helps protect the liver from radiation and DNA damage, both before and after exposure to X-rays, meaning you can use your NAC, and for that matter, you can use your zinc before and after X-ray exposure to protect your liver and to protect your cells from DNA damage. This is why pre-treatment is so helpful, and this is why just getting on a daily dose of NAC can be important. Yes, it can be helpful if you know you're going to be going out drinking, or you know you're going to be having your amalgams pulled out, or if you can predict, but why bother? Just take your NAC every day. Just take your zinc every day. Just take your Mighty 90 essential nutrients every day. And that way, when you are exposed, your body will be preloaded with all of these nutrients to protect yourself. NAC stimulates the secretion of something called cytokines, C-Y-T-O-K-I-N-E-S, cytokines. Cytokines are special inflammatory or anti-inflammatory immune system chemicals that protect the body from radiation injury, from all kinds of injury. According to the Life Extension website, NAC supplements that include vitamin C and vitamin E, two other very important detox nutrients, detox vitamins. According to Life Extension magazine, if you take an NAC supplement that has both vitamin C and vitamin E in it, the likelihood of damage from exposure will be significantly decreased. Actually, they say an NAC supplement and vitamin C and E together, quote, significantly increased, unquote, the 30-day survival of mice who were exposed to a potentially deadly dose of X-ray radiation. And this was whether the supplement was given before or after exposure. According to cancer researchers, NAC can dramatically reduce the ability of tumors to invade surrounding tissue. That's called metastases, and NAC is anti-metastases. In one study, this one was published in 2014 in the journal Cell, Death, and Disease. NAC decreased the number of metastases by 80% when the cancer cells were pre-treated with NAC. NAC can be especially helpful for colon cancer prevention. Colon cancer is one of the more miserable forms of cancer. It's a leading cause of death. Its rates are increasing, not surprisingly, considering the colon handles everything we eat, and our food is totally contaminated. Ask anybody who's ever had to deal with this thing. There is nothing, I can't think of anything more miserable than having to deal with colon cancer. Another study, this one was published in 1983 in the journal Seminars in Oncology, done on 62 individuals, each of whom had a colon polyp, which are associated with colon cancer. Each of these 62 individuals had a colon polyp removed. The anti-cancer benefits of NAC treatment were evaluated. They took a biopsy. Study results showed that individuals taking NAC for 12 weeks, 800 milligrams of NAC for 12 weeks, showed more normal cells in the biopsy tissue as compared with those in placebo group. What more do you need to hear, folks? The stuff is dirt cheap. All of these benefits. There's more. We'll talk about more. We'll talk more about NAC when we come back from our break. And take your phone calls as well. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll get your calls here in this segment. We got a guest at the bottom of the hour, Reverend Tabiti, who we've had on before on the program. He is a fasting expert. He fasts hundreds of days a year, and he is no weakling. Bench presses, I think, 225 pounds, and he's lean and mean. And he's been fasting for a couple of 100 to 200 days a year now for a couple of years, more maybe. And he's been telling me about fasting for a long time. Of course, I learned about it in pharmacy school, and I'm a big believer in fasting, as well as caloric restriction, which I consider to be two of the most important anti-aging strategies, along with nutritional supplementation that you can ever use. We'll talk about fasting, fasting strategies in our next segment. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions, give us a call now about anything we're speaking about here today. Also want to remind you to check out our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Our award-winning Truth Serum, voted one of the top 150 products in the world by Harper's Bazaar magazine. They love our Truth Serum. We've been featured in their magazine, I don't know, 2 or 3 times now since the product came out. You'll be hearing a lot about my Truth Treatment products, a lot more about my Truth Treatment products here in about 3 weeks when my non-compete expires. I had a non-compete that I was working under for the last 3 years. You can find out about our Truth Treatment products, Truth Serum, Truth Omega-6 Healing Cream, Truth Balm, and Truth Retinol 5% Gel, all anti-aging, all healing products, never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, oils, water, silicone, surfactant, emulsifiers, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. You can find out all about them at truthtreatments.com. truthtreatments.com. Okay, got lots more to say about N-acetylcysteine. We'll do that tomorrow. Also, we'll talk about why N-acetylcysteine is important for mental health. Yes, this very, very important detoxification supplement is so multifunctional. It's not just good for the physical body, it's also good for the mental body. It's got roles to play in preventing toxicity from excitotoxins, brain toxicity, and it also can be helpful for helping deal with certain emotional disorders, which we'll talk about tomorrow as we continue talking excitotoxicity, plant toxins, and N-acetylcysteine and glutathione on the bright side. Okay, from the, where is this from here? The journal Frontiers in Cellular Neuroscience, Treating Autism by Targeting the Gut. Experts have called for large-scale studies into altering the makeup of bacteria in the gut. After review showed that this might reduce the symptoms of autism spectrum disorder. Please do not underestimate the relationship between gut bacteria and the digestive system and intestinal health and mental health. It's called the gut-brain axis. And we've known about this not for a very long time, although we knew about it kind of, but not scientifically. We knew about it anecdotally, that when you change the way you eat, you could change the way you think, and we knew about it from a common sense perspective, but now we're learning more and more from a scientific perspective that there is a major relationship between digestive health and mental health, and do not underestimate it, especially when it comes to psychotic disorders. I've witnessed it myself. I had a friend who used to have these psychotic breaks. She was, I don't know if she's full-blown schizophrenic, but she would get delusional. And myself and my girlfriend at the time noticed that when she would get delusional, when she ate weird food, when she ate not weird food, but she ate junk food. She would eat Snickers bars, and she would eat soda pop and juice beverages and sweets, and she would get more delusional, or the likelihood of her having a delusional a psychotic break would become increased. Her dad was a veterinarian, somewhat of a medical professional, and we told her dad. He laughed. He thought that was silly. Nonetheless, she was a good friend of ours, and we started suggesting that she change the way she ate, and we would prepare foods for her. She was a good friend, and sure enough, I saw as she changed the way she ate, her mental symptoms changed. I had another guy I knew. I've told this story before. I used to go get a juice every day at the health food store, Alfalfa's here in Boulder, and I would go get a juice every morning, and there would be this guy there. He was schizophrenic, and he was on medication, and I became kind of friends with him. I always like talking to schizophrenics. They're always very interesting. And anyway, so I got to know him a little bit. And one day we were talking about his medication and his therapy. And he said to me, Ben, I hate the medication. I hate the drugs. And I want to get off of them. And he seemed sincere. So I took him to the salad bar and I showed him things to get. And I bought him a salad. And every day I would go in from that point forward and I'd buy him a little salad. And after about 2 weeks, his entire being changed. His entire demeanor changed. And he eventually got off his medication, all of it. Now, he ended up, I didn't see him, I stopped going to the health food store. I didn't see him for a while. And then one time I saw him, I don't know, about a couple months later. And sure enough, there was Greg, and he was drinking a big old jug of Coca-Cola, and he was as delusional as ever. And he said, yeah, I stopped doing it, and I'm being treated again. I'm on the medication again. But it showed me visually the relationship between what you eat and how your brain works. And it's just common sense anyway. But these days we recognize all of this scientifically. That's why it's so darn important to get on a probiotic supplement, to eat fermented food, to pay attention to what you're eating if you're dealing with these kinds of mental health issues. Because as anybody who's been treated by a psychiatrist knows, there's not much drugs can do for you except drug you out, except numb you out, except make you stupid and tired. They don't treat any psychotic disorders. There's no drug that treats a psychotic disorder. They just put you to sleep, basically. And if not literally put you to sleep, they make you very fatigued and tired so you can't be psychotic. But there's no way to target psychosis, still no way to target psychosis, although in fairness, they are getting a little bit better at it. Of course, then you got to deal with all the toxicity associated with the drugs. Get on a good probiotic supplement, focus on digestive health, and watch yourself get better, or watch your friend or your loved one or whoever it is that's dealing with these kinds of problems get better right before your eyes. All right, time to hit the phones. We can only get a couple calls in. Let's go to my friend Carl, the Truth Raider. Good morning, Carl.
But again, don't see the problem. I mean, this happens in locker rooms across.
All right, I know what you got going on there, Carl, but I'm going to let you go here. Are you there, buddy?
And you'll never look at Anthony.
All right. I don't know what's wrong, Carl, the Truth Raider. Sorry about that, Carl. But we don't have much time anyway. All right. Let me read a couple more studies, then we'll get to our guest, Reverend Tabiti. We only got about a minute here. We'll get you. If you have phone calls, you can give us a call back tomorrow at 844-236-6010. This is from the Journal of Medicinal Food. Does roasting level affect the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties of coffee? Yes, it does, according to the Journal of Medicinal Food. Again, this is common sense. The more you cook, the more you process, the more you roast, the less nutritional benefit you'll get. However, there's a caveat here. Sometimes a little bit of heat and sometimes a little bit of processing actually releases nutrients. And this is very interesting for folks who think that they'll be better off going raw. Sometimes going raw is helpful, in other words, raw veggies and raw produce and raw foods in general. However, a little bit of heat, a little bit of braising, a little bit of steaming sometimes releases nutrients. It's just kind of the amount of heat that you got to pay attention to, or the amount of processing. In this article, which was published last month in the Journal of Medicinal Food, entitled Cellular Antioxidant and Anti-Inflammatory Effects of Coffee Extracts with Different Roasting Levels, what was found that the more a product was roasted, the more a coffee was roasted, the less effective from an antioxidant perspective it was. So you got to be careful when you're drinking your roasted coffee, or really when you're cooking any kinds of foods. Typically, the less you cook and the less you process and the less you heat, the more nutritional value your food will have, keeping in mind that sometimes a little bit of heat is necessary. And with vegetables in particular, it's always a good idea to heat your vegetables very, very slightly, steam or braise very, very slightly with fat. The fat helps pull out those fatty nutrients and the fatty pigments, which are very important for skin health, as well as general health, particularly important for skin health for folks who are going out in the sun. And this is really important now that we're coming into the summer months. Vegetables and nutritional supplementation are your best sun protection. The pigments from vegetables, as well as antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, and N-acetylcysteine. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we are back on the bright side. Thanks for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on our archive pages at brightsideben.com and benfuchsarchives.com. You can purchase longevity products off of brightsideben.com, as well as pharmacistben.com and criticalhealthnews.com. You can sign up to join the Brightside Ben team right off the websites as well for a one-time $25 fee. You can start a longevity business. You can also call the phone team at 866-735-2470 if you prefer talking to a real live human being, 866-735-2470. They're friendly and knowledgeable. They know all about the longevity business and the longevity products. 866-735-2470 is their number. If you want to purchase any of our Truth Skin Health products, please go to truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com, and take a look at our retinol 5% gel if you're dealing with acne blemishes, or you want to prevent acne blemishes, or accelerated aging, or you want to prevent accelerated aging. Our retinol 5% gel can help diminish fine lines and wrinkles, the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, make your skin look younger, smoother, softer. When you use our Truth Skin Health products over the course of time, you're going to find you're using less and less makeup, and you don't even need to go out with makeup because these are health products for the skin. When we put makeup on, when women put makeup on their skin, what they're trying to do is make the skin look healthy, make the skin appear healthy. Well, when you use our Truth Skin Health products, your skin will really be healthy. You don't have to make your skin look healthy. It will really be healthy. You'll have the glow of health, and that's why one of the greatest compliments I get about our Truth Skin Health products is when people tell me they don't need to use their makeup anymore. Truth Skin Health products are available at truthtreatments.com, Truth Serum, Truth Balm, Truth Omega-6 Healing Cream, and Truth Retinol 5% Gel. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, oils, surfactants, emulsifiers, water, silicone. Nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. Okay, so I've known our next guest now for 25 years or so, 24 years, and he's always been into the health of his body. And for the, I don't know, probably the last couple of decades or so, he's been really big, maybe even longer, really big on fasting, which, as you know, if you've listened to this program, is what I consider to be one of the most important anti-aging and health-inducing strategies you could ever employ, especially if you're dealing with a health challenge, if you're dealing with an autoimmune disease, cancer, an inflammatory issue. It is an amazing, amazing strategy, and it's not just me saying this. Google fasting and cancer. Google fasting and chemotherapy. Fasting will even help your chemotherapy drugs work better, along with caloric restriction, restricting your calories, eating less food. The less you eat, the longer you live. What do you want your body to do? You want it to spend its resources, its nutritional resources, processing food, or you want it to spend it on recovery and healing and growth and anti-aging? That's basically what it comes down to. And this is why fasting is such an important strategy. Not only do you reduce the amount of toxicity that your body has to deal with, not only do you reduce the amount of resources your body has to expend on the digestive process, but when you fast, you actually mobilize anti-aging chemistry, healing chemistry. Your body goes into a superhuman strength or superhuman chemistry mode when it's fasting. This is evolutionarily mandated in order to get us to go out and find food. So the body says, oh, there's no food? Well, we better start growing those muscles, and we better start repairing tissue so that our organism, this organism, can go out and find food. It's a way to turn on superhuman strength chemistry. Fasting is. So contrary to what you would think, oh, I'm fasting, I'm not going to have any energy, you actually have more energy when you fast. As anyone who's fasted for more than a day or two will tell you, you start to get energy when you fast. And we've been talking about on this program here theoretically now for years. Reverend Tabiti has been using it in his life, and I'm very proud and honored to have my friend Reverend Tabiti on the bright side. What's up, Tabiti?
Hey, how are you, Ben, my brother? How are you?
I'm doing good. So okay. I hope that was a good introduction. How long have you been fasting for?
I've been fasting seriously, like for the first 7 days of every month for the last 62 consecutive months. A little more than 5 years, giving me a total of 442 days of fasting.
And how do you feel?
It would be trying to tell a blind person what the color blue looks like.
Okay, you know, I got it.
It's absolutely indescribable. In other words, I never thought it were possible to feel this good all the time. I mean, and everybody around me always comments about how good I look and how great I always feel.
Now you're talking not just physical benefits, but also mental health benefits.
Yeah, every aspect of life. See, cleanliness is next to godliness, internally, externally, eternally, and and so what happens is the cleaner we get within, then of course the more our organs are going to function better. And I mean, what do you think you would feel like if your lungs are functioning the way they're supposed to, and your kidneys and your liver and everything is at optimum level, because it doesn't have the accumulative filth that collects in the body and constipates the circulatory system, so that the organs are being suffocated by filth. You know,
it's sort of like if you had a car that was all beat up and run down, and you've had 100,000 miles on it, and you haven't been changing the oil, and all of a sudden you got a new car.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that.
I can get a sense of that. That's what it sounds like to me.
May I add another perspective on this, please?
Yeah.
Okay. See, you know that I'm a scientist who also happens to be a clergy.
Right.
So just with that said, in the scripture, basically what it says is that everything went wrong because Adam and Eve chose to disobey God.
Okay.
And what this disobedience was God said to Adam, "Don't eat the forbidden, or else you're going to die." So right there in that point, folks, is we need to understand that, hey, we were never intended to die. Okay, it was never. It was, in other words, everlasting life is not something that you die for, that you pick up later because you subscribe to some fear-based ideology or theology. That's not true. You see, so this disobedience, and I'm going fast here. Adam lived to be 963 years old before he died, and Noah was 500 years old before he became a father, and 700 years old before he built the ark. This is not in the story by accident. So what happened was, this supposedly angered God. And to fix this, what happened was Jesus came, who was the way shower. And I'm not trying to say what anyone needs to believe or not. That's not my point. Because basically, let's look at the fact. In order to participate in the global economy, there's a universal agreement that is the year 2017 AD. And then before his birth, it would be 2017 BC. The BC and the AD is in reference to this individual, and so this is why we need to pay attention, because time did not do that for the birth or death of anybody else except this individual.
Okay, so go ahead.
He was called the way shower, not the way talker. And so what he did was he showed us the way to be our own Savior and our own salvation through his 40-day fast example. But what happened was the church became so obsessed with the messenger, they missed the message, you see, which was the 40-day fast.
All right, we got to take a break here. We got to take a break. But what I'm hearing you say is there's a relationship between spirituality and fasting, or spirituality and what you eat, or how you eat.
Absolutely.
And that's a very interesting point. Listen, we got to take a break. When we come back, I want you to talk a little bit about some of the other stuff you're doing. You got some an interesting website. What's your website, real quick, Tabiti?
Thepower.org.
Thepower.org. Okay, we'll be coming. Hang on, Tabiti. We'll be coming back right after this. Okay. Okay, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking to my good friend, Reverend Tabiti, about fasting. I'm a big believer in fasting, as you know, if you listen to this program, and calorie restriction. Tabiti's been fasting for many, many years since I've known him, but especially in the last 4 or 5 years. But you're doing a lot of other things too, Tabiti, right? Thepower.org is your website. Thepower.org is Reverend Tabiti's website. What else are you doing?
You know, Ben, it's a very, very exciting time. Actually, I just want to just complete the previous point that I was making. I'll be extremely brief, and that is that the human race is suffering from every ailment and disease that we can create a name for, and it's all because of our ignorant neglect of internal cleansing. And then fasting is the most feared and most misunderstood cure of all ailments and disease. But what we are is we're living in what's called treatment consciousness, where people are, because of their ailments and symptoms, they're going to people that will offer them cures and treatments. But the rule is that when we stop doing the things that are causing our ailments and symptoms, then the treatments are no longer necessary. So that was just to complete my thought from before. But what's happening today, Ben, is I'm in amazing stuff. We at thepower.org, we were the ones who got the election right. There's a video still there showing, how, in ancient science, the outcome of this election. And then, of course, everybody's been getting all excited about the time map system because the time map system, which is exclusively available there, is giving people, just taking everyone who uses it, taking them out of the dark so that they can see which way their choices are taking them, so that they stay on track with the people and things supporting what they're trying to accomplish.
Well, hang on. What is a time map? Hang on, Tabiti. What is a time map?
Well, a time map is an interactive birth chart at thepower.org that integrates one's date of birth with the universal laws that are governing our existence, as rooted in the ancients and in ancient science.
How would it? Practically speaking, what is it? Practically speaking, what is it?
Well, what it is, it's a tool that you use to guide you through your world, so that you succeed in the four. See, there's four directions of time and four directions of space. And space is north, south, east, and west. But the four directions of time are when you advance emotionally, mentally, financially, and spiritually. Those are the four directions of time. And so the time map system is what's used for anyone who's looking to succeed in any one of those four areas. That's emotionally, mentally, financially, or spiritually.
So it's like a guidance system. It's a guidance system.
The world's most perfect, because it's rooted in ancient science, and that's why it's universally verifiable and mathematically exact. We even showed the outcome of the elections last night. Even showed that the outcome of the Super Bowl. Everything has been 100% right. Plus, the movie comes out next month. The movie is called The Illumined Ones. Yeah, it's The Illumined Ones. In fact, I have the movie preview is also being showcased at the website, thepower.org as well. And then, Ben, we're giving away a free publication right there at the homepage of the website that's called The Most Powerful Knowledge in the World. That is completely free. And then, of course, I offer coaching and consultation, and I help everyone.
You also have a couple books, don't you?
I do. The book All About You I wrote back in 1999, but which is the book that we use to answer the proverb "Know Thyself." But the latest book that I'm releasing with the movie is called "The Secret Wisdom of the Ages," and Michael Bernard Beckwith of the Agape International Spiritual Center, he wrote the foreword, which is just one of the most honorable things in my life.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, tell us a little bit about how people can access this time map program, or if they want more. Is it just your website? Is there any other way that they can access the information?
Yeah, well, no, everything is real simple and easy. They just go to the power. If you can just remember those two words, the power, because we also have thepower.com that also goes to thepower.org. And what happens is we have videos there, so that people can actually see, instead of trying to imagine what I'm talking about. They can see it on the screen, and they can also see how we've used this to demonstrate its power and demonstrate how this surpasses all psychics and astrologers. I mean, this makes that truly look like a joke. Because there are rules that govern our existence, and the more we learn about the rules that govern our existence, the more we're able to improve the way we live. For example, the Internet is nothing but an improved understanding of how electricity works. That's what a TV is. That's what a cell phone is. It's nothing but an improved understanding of what electricity can and cannot do. You see, and so today, what the time map system is a rediscovered science that is designed to give the user a superior advantage, a superior illuminated advantage, over their situation or circumstance. So I guess the best way to say it would be, whatever your reason for using headlights when driving down a dark road is the same exact reason why we all use the time map system.
Now, how does fasting fit into all this?
Well, because in the ancient science, there's these four aspects of our existence that are represented in the four suits of the 52 playing cards. Hearts represents our emotional nature, clubs represents our mental nature, diamonds represent our values, and then spades represents our spiritual nature. You see, but to reestablish heaven on earth, we have to achieve mastery of the four suits, which means achieving the unconditional love and happiness of hearts, the know-how and intelligence of clubs, the abundance and prosperity of diamonds, and the perfect health and divine wisdom of spades. You see, so it's the perfect health of spades. See, in the cards, when they're laid out in sequential order, beginning with the ace of hearts and ending at the king of spades, the ace of spades is the 40th card in the deck. You see, and that number 40 represents the 40-day flood, Jesus' 40-day fast, but it also is just a symbol of purification, because the first law of nature, Ben, is purification of path. This is why it rains. This is why the winds blow. This is why the rivers run. This is why we catch colds. This is why everyone has to sit on the toilet no matter what they think or believe, because these are the rules that govern our existence, whether we like it or not.
Purification.
Yes, purification of path. You see, because what fasting is when you stop eating, nature is still cleaning you out. You see, and that's how come the longer you go into the fast, the deeper the
cleaner you get.
But there's two big mistakes with fasting. One is instant gratification. That's a big mistake that can prove fatal outcome. And also the fact that when people go right back to the snot, if you will, or mucus, that contaminates them in the first place, and that's the same as having never fasted at all. You see, so the symptoms of aging is nothing but the accumulation of filth within a body temple that refuses to fast or cleanse. We take showers and baths. That doesn't wash us on the inside. Clothes to the cleaner's car to the car wash, but the internal condition is neglected. And then, unfortunately, you have people that are being told, hey, if you just believe this, somehow that's going to exempt you from your violation of spiritual laws. You see, sin stands for self-imposed nonsense. And I will show you that nobody died for you. Will die for your sin. Everyone does. Every hospital, every day, people are dying for their self-imposed nonsense because of our ignorance to the example that was set for us by the way shower. In other words, we want to run our mouth, but we don't want to do the work. You see, and then, Ben, that's one of the things that makes you the exception to the academic rule, is that even though you learn the academic, you're always coming from a nutritional standpoint, as opposed to, treatment.
Drugs.
That's one of the things that I just admire, your work so much, is because you're always coming from a nutritional aspect, because you're right. What we need more than anything, in other words, we don't even need food. We just need nutrition. If we have nutrition, then you're right.
It's about nutrition. Yeah, that's why it's so important. Hey, listen, Tabiti, man, we're out of time. Listen, how does somebody, real quick, we only have about a minute, so real quick, it's thepower.org, by the way, is the website. How does somebody start a fast? Thepower.org. Thepower.org, right.
Thepower.org, thepower.com.
How does somebody, give me 5 seconds, how do you start a fast? Real quick.
Through you have to have a cleansing diet first. A cleansing diet before
first.
You start fasting. Right. Transition diet.
Tabiti, we only got 20 seconds, my friend. Good to talk to you. Thank you so much. Thepower.org is Tabiti's website if you're interested. Thanks, Tabiti. Thank you so much for listening to The Bright Side, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Check out our websites, brightsideben.com for longevity products and truthtreatments.com for our Truth Skin Health products. We'll talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful, awesome, beautiful, spectacular day. Bye for now.